All right, I try to keep everything really positive on this channel. I could be making a whole bunch of over-the-top crap if I just wanted to get a bunch of viewers, and if that's all I cared about, I would be, of course, talking about anabolics and who knows what all else. But there's a whole lot of crazy shit I could do, but that's not me. It's fake, and you already know how I feel about these topics. And I want to try and keep it upbeat. There's enough negativity in the world now, and if you're trying to get whatever it is you're trying to get done, you're trying to get it accomplished and be successful about it, you got to stay positive and surround yourself with positive people. I mean, that's how it goes. You've got to be around positive influences. If you're going to be around a bunch of negativity and everybody's got something negative to say, it's going to seep into you. And next thing you know, you're going to catch yourself making negative remarks over everything that happens, and something's negative about this person and that person. Even people you don't know, just people driving down the road and so forth. Happens to everybody, happens to me, but I try to stay conscious of it, and when it happens, I try to get a handle on it and say, pull back the reins a little bit. So that's why I kind of don't want to get into this, because there's so much misinformation on YouTube. There are so many people who are unqualified to speak on the matter in which they're speaking. I mean, everybody's qualified to have an opinion. But when people are stating something factually, they're trying to give you some instruction, they're telling you this is the correct way or this is the only truth, then you got to already suspect that, because there's a lot of ways to get things done. Many roads lead to the same result, the same location. There's a lot of ways to get there. So, having said all that, this elaborate disclaimer as it is, I want to say something about Jason Blaha, because this poor bastard, I don't know what happened to him. I used to enjoy his channel myself, but the past year, it seems, or this year at least, or I don't know, past 6 months, his channel's been turned into pure shit, in my opinion. And I don't know what's going through his head, all the bullshit and the phony shit and all this other thing. I mean, he wouldn't be so overly obviously a fraud at some of these claims, like all this tactical shit and this fucking the mercenary type bullshit and all this crap. It wouldn't be so obviously not true if the poor bastard just realized the one simple thing that all these types of people he's trying to usually portray have in common, and that is situational awareness. Situational awareness. And people who actually really have developed a instinctive and kind of just an automatic and natural situational awareness don't even think about it. It's not something you think about. If you've actually been anywhere and been through anything and been around anything or lived through some kind of, really abnormal world where there was a lot of violence and there was unexpected this and that, and you actually learned to just accept it as day-to-day life. If you really lived through any of that, anybody I know has lived through anything like that, everybody has in common this just unspoken, just unconscious situational awareness. It just develops. It's just an adaptive type of thing. And if you want to have really good situational awareness, the first thing you don't do is a lot of this. I don't know any fucking body that's been anywhere and done anything that really has any sense of situational awareness that isn't another thing, stoic. Very stoic. And I never ever considered myself stoic. And of course you wouldn't gather that from these videos, because if I don't speak, it'd be awful boring, wouldn't it, if I just sat here studying the camera. But over a period of time, a lot of people commented to me. Freddie Smalls actually said to me one time, sitting in his office at his old gym, long before he turned pro, or a few years, I think several years probably before he turned pro, and he said to me, you're a very stoic guy, aren't you? And I thought, I don't know, am I? And you know what? I had to think about it. Because that automatic, instinctive situational awareness one develops isn't something it's not something that you walk around, keeping in mind. Oh, I have to be situationally aware. Oh, I need to look around and take. It just automatically happens. And that means you're probably a really good observer. You're really good at observing. which is like the opposite of doing this. It's the opposite of doing this. So most of the time, the people that are doing this are dead giveaways. The ones that do a whole lot of just this are dead giveaways. Because everybody I know that's developed the type of situational awareness I'm talking about, they're stoic. They're observers. If you just observe, people will tell you everything. The place will tell you everything. You'll find out everything you need to know if you just shut the fuck up. But, so that's the first dead giveaway. But I'm not even here to talk about that. I just gave you that information for free there, Mr. Blaha. But what I really wanted to address is he seems to be a frustrated bodybuilder, which I don't know why he's frustrated. If you want to be a bodybuilder, just be a bodybuilder. Who the hell cares? You know, you are marking your own success. If you're working out with weights, as I've said, just to ad nauseum, many, many times I've said this, if you're using progressive resistance training to shape your body or to alter the shape of your body, if that's your goal and that's the way you're going about it, you are bodybuilding, in my opinion. I'm not talking about bodybuilding the sport, which is a whole different creature. I'm talking about really bodybuilding. To me, if you're using progressive resistance training, if you're using, I don't give a shit if you're using bands or if you're using actual free weights and machines or some combination thereof or any of this shit. If you're using progressive resistance training with the intent of altering the shape of your body, in my opinion, you are bodybuilding, and this is usually, of course, coupled with some nutritional plan. So, if you want to be a bodybuilder, then just be one, right? You mark your own success. You don't have to feel, I don't know, less than something else, or you don't have to feel like you're a fail at it, or anything. That's your assessment, okay? So, you know, Blaha, if you feel like, you know, you have some kind of bitterness towards bodybuilders, that I guess that means you already disclude yourself from that. You know, you're not a bodybuilder. But why is it so important to you? Why do you give two shits about what the next man does? You know what I mean? This is the United States of America right here, and basically the next man can do what he wants to do as long as he's not hurting someone else, and you do what you want to do. That's what we have. You know, that's the trade-off there. You do what you want, and I'll do what I want, and you know, if we meet in the middle and say hi and shake hands and do something together, awesome. And if we don't, that's fine too, right? But no, it seems like he makes so many videos about, you know, bodybuilders. Their problem is this. They're latent, undercover homosexuals. They don't even realize it because if you're critiquing your physique to that degree or another man's physique to that degree or studying the male physique to that degree, you must have some kind of homosexual urges deep within you that are unrecognized or something, which is completely and utterly just ridiculous because they're two different things, you know? First thing you kind of do is disassociate yourself from the physical body, as ridiculous as that sounds, right? But you kind of just disassociate yourself. Like myself, this is just a vehicle. This is a fucking vehicle. This shit, this is a vehicle. This isn't really me. I'm inside the vehicle. Hopefully, I'm driving the vehicle. Hopefully, okay? But I'm inside the vehicle. And all this does is motor about and carry around me. The inside me, whether you think it's a spirit, a soul, or whatever you want to call it. My consciousness, all right? That's who I am. This is the vehicle, the vessel that I'm stored in. Okay, so that's the first thing right there, the disassociation of, you know, this is a male body and these are male body parts and you're studying the male anatomy or physique so intently you must be, you know, have some kind of homosexual or no. This is just a vessel I'm in, just a container, and that's what I look at it as. And to tell you the God's honest truth, after so long of just doing it and working and lifting and eating and, you know, it's just second nature. I don't really think about it that much. It's just something I do. And I don't even realize that I look different than most people. I don't realize that. I don't go out in public and think, yeah, I look a lot different than these people. You know, I don't think that shit. I just, let me tell you, I don't know how many times I just, you get so used to just looking at yourself or just seeing, you know, because you're assessing your physique, or you know, if you're gaining, losing, if you're hard, if you're, You know, what you're looking like, am I happy with that? Do I need to shape this a different way? Do I need to work on that aspect of my physique? Or, right? All that is just reshaping this vessel. And it'll probably never be finished, just be incomplete. But it's not me. I'm inside. This is just this is just a car. It's like doing body work on an old beater, right? You're just trying to fix it up or get it in shape, or maybe you're trying to restore it if you let it go a little or something like that. That's how it is to me. First, it's just I can look at it from a distance and make judgments because I'm not that connected. You know, I mean, I am inside of it, but that's all purpose it serves. It just transports me around, and there are some benefits. There are a lot of things I can do that I otherwise wouldn't be able to do if I didn't have the muscle to do it. And there's things I enjoy to do, so it works for me. But yeah, I don't associate any sexuality with it necessarily. It's not like, you know, and I don't really think about it. I don't, like I said, walk around. I don't realize, you know, I'm not always consciously aware I'm bigger than that guy, or my arms are bigger than his, or I don't look at people that way. And many times when people like are gawking at me places, and you know, if I notice that, because I'm not thinking about it, so disassociated, I wonder why. I mean, sometimes I'm like, what's that? What are they looking at? You know, and it just strikes me as odd because I really don't feel like I'm that much different. I don't look that much different. But I guess I do. But to tell you the God's honest truth, it's not like in front of my fucking, you know, mind from, you know, all day long. And when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I think of, you know, it's not something I'm really consciously aware of. The only time I'm aware of it is when I'm working on it, concentrating on it in the gym, whatever, eating, you know, shit like that. I don't carry it around all day. So there's your first clue, Blaha. That's not really how we actually think. At least the healthy ones amongst us, that's not how we think. That's not how I think. Let's put it that way. The next thing is, he likes to come off with this thing. Another thing he's fond of saying is, it's not attractive. You know, you start working out because you want to be attractive to the opposite sex, and then, you know, you take it so far that you actually have accomplished the opposite. Now you're unattractive to them, and they're not. Women are, if you're heterosexual, you know, and you're male, women are not attracted to you now, and, you know, all this horse shit. First, I don't know how he would know that, or, you know, speculate on that, or it could only be speculation, but he presents it as it's a truth, a fact. And I don't know how he would know that because, no offense, but I really ain't walking around looking like, you understand what I'm saying? You know, you really don't have that drastic of fucking look, you know. Sorry to shock you, but, so I don't know how you would know that. You don't know it from experience, that's for damn sure. If chicks aren't attracted to you or haven't been attracted to you, it's not because you're too muscular, okay? Somebody had to tell you. It's not because you're too muscular. Now, the reality of it and the truth of it is kind of the opposite. You know, initially I started lifting because I wasn't happy with me, with my outside. And it was before I was old enough and learned enough, you know, about living in my body and living in my head and being on this planet and experiencing life and moving through the world. Before I had enough experience and had gone far enough for me to realize what's important and what's not important, I may have had a little bit of an issue with the way that I looked physically. I thought that it was too small and scrawny. You know, I'll tell you the God's truth, it's kind of hard for me to remember exactly what that felt like and what I thought, but I know I wasn't happy and didn't like it. To me, it makes no sense today. I look back and I think, I don't get it, but I don't know, it is what it is. And I'm sure there are people out there that can relate, and if you can't, you can't. But that's why I actually started doing more of the lifting than anything else. And because I liked that I was gaining size and some muscle and changing my look, and I thought it looked better for whatever reason at the time. And it was never because I wanted to be more appealing to women. You know, I mean, when I was fighting competitively, to tell you the truth, I was always a bit of an introvert. If I liked a girl and had a crush on a girl as a young guy, you know, as like a real young guy, if I could summon up the courage or the nerve to invite her to come see me fight, that always worked. Because then I don't have to really do a whole lot of talking. There's just something primal about it. I know it may sound ridiculous, but if you haven't been there, you really don't know. And usually that kind of sealed the deal. I mean, you know, it worked. Anyhow, so it was never about, I thought that I'm going to build this muscular body and that's going to attract more women. However, it does have that effect. I can tell you right now that even women that I have known that would have sworn that they're not attracted to it, they think it looks sickening, it's too extreme, it's too much muscle, you're going too far, it's unattractive. When they say that, they're looking at pictures and photographs and video or whatever. That's not in person. It seems that, now this is my experience now, the women that I've met and interacted with since I've been, more muscular, and this isn't like lately, because lately, past many years, I don't have those interactions like that because I'm I don't view them the same way anymore. So, but I was always very much aware that in person, no matter what they thought, see, they haven't really experienced it. It's not like guys are walking around a dime a dozen, with 20-inch, 22-inch arms, 56, 57, 58-inch chests, 30-inch legs. I mean, guys just aren't walking around all over the place looking like that. Veins all over them, right? It's just not a dime a dozen. So when women say things, that's not attractive to me, they're judging like from a picture, a photograph, whatever. They haven't seen it in person. It's different in person. It's more primal. And I'm telling you right now that I've never known a woman that didn't think it was very interesting, to say the least, very attractive. So, I mean, I've had women walk up and just start touching me. I've had women come up and just feel my arms, touch my shoulders, whole 9 yards, just walking through the fucking mall or whatever in a t-shirt. So, and again, I'm not much of a social creature, so hasn't happened for quite a while, but, I've been bigger than this, and I was bigger than this back then when it had happened, and I've been smaller than this when it has happened, and, on and on. So that part of it, don't worry. If you're doing the curls for the girls, it will work. But it's not enough to keep the girl. It's the person that's supposed to be driving the bus inside. That's what's going to keep the girl, ultimately. Okay? It's just like the worm on the end of a hook. It's the bait to get their attention, perhaps. That may work for you, but you have to come with more than that. It's not going to be just all about, right? So if you are doing the curls for the girls, you build some arms up and you build a decent physique, yeah, women are going to like it. I can tell you that. But that's not going to keep them around. So you got to make sure to work on what's inside too if it's not up to level and you're not ready for that kind of thing. But and to the extreme, it was always a big distraction too. I mean, when I was younger, I was led astray more times than I'm proud to admit, and did a lot of things I should never have ever done. But I was young and foolish, and you get to a point you start to believe your own fucking bullshit, your own hype, which is always not good. So I'll give you another example. It works the other way too with guys looking at females. A very, very good friend of mine, one of my best buddies that I lifted with for many, many years when I could lift really heavy, and we used to really go like mad. And he's a hell of an MMA guy, and I mean, when I say hell of an MMA guy, it seems like everybody's an MMA guy. He is a fucking beast. But he said to me one time, he asked me, because when I was competing, there were a lot of people around, guys and girls, that were bodybuilders, powerlifters, such. And he said to me in a social situation one time when a lot of people were around, he said, "Jimmy, why does Denise's muscles look like that? Why does she look so hard compared to another girl we knew, who the other girl actually is fuller, but not as hard? Why does Denise look so hard, like with the vascularity and all the veins?" And I said, well, it's just different physiques and different genetics and different strokes and blah blah blah. And he said, "I don't like that. I don't like the girls with muscle like that." Like, okay, whatever. I mean, I just don't think I appreciate what they've done, but I don't think it's attractive. Like, well, whatever, different strokes. I'm sure they don't do it just hoping men are going to find it attractive. Just like, really, we don't do this just hoping women are going to find it attractive. So, but lo and behold, probably about 40 minutes later, we were in the pool. And out comes Denise in this leopard type, cheetah type print bikini, I guess it was. And she was like 5 weeks out from a national show, a national bodybuilding show. So she was in pretty good shape. I mean, abs, you know, very, very tight, veins, you know, vascularity even across her abs. And she got in the pool, and he turned to me and said to me, "That is the sexiest woman I've ever seen." After the same guy just told me 40 minutes earlier he didn't find it attractive himself. So that's a picture, and whatever the mind, you know, plays off of that, or how it perceives all that, and then whatever how it evaluates, and versus the real McCoy, right, in the same presence. So I don't know where Blaha comes up with this. You know, women don't find it attractive, and if you're lifting weights, you're probably some kind of latent homosexual, and sure, there's a lot of homosexuals that, you know, a lot of gay dudes are around bodybuilding, and a lot of guys, I've known guys that were gay that lifted and had great physiques, and, you know, I'm sure and believe me, there's a huge, you know, gay element around bodybuilding. There's a lot of fans that are gay. If there wasn't for, let me put it this way, if it wasn't for a homosexual community, bodybuilding would be like, you can just take away at least half the crowd, okay? But what do you expect, okay? If you're a dude that likes other dudes, and you like muscular dudes, bodybuilding's going to be the shit, right? Guys running around all oiled up, hair shaved off their body, wearing a pair of panties, basically up under spotlights and flexing, right? Trying to highlight that muscularity. So if you were a gay man, you would be there too. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, and I'll tell you another thing. Now that we're on that topic, which wasn't even where I was going, but we're there, I got to say this. I know that I had a lot of, you know, gay supporters when I was into bodybuilding as far as competing, even though I did a pretty shit job at it. And they were always the most supportive fans. The most supportive, I don't want to say fans, I don't know anybody to have a fan. But they were always the most supportive spectators or people that had any interest, and always very polite. I mean, you have one really shitty showing, and everybody, every little buster in their mom's basement is you know, hurried up at his keypad there and is typing in how shitty you looked and how fucking horrible you are and what a bum and lousy bodybuilder, your physique is horrible and all this stuff. But most of the gay community, they just like, you know, it's all right, Jimmy, you do better next time. You know? So forth and so on. Hear that ferocious dog. So anyway, as usual, I'm rambling. I don't want this to be too long, but this is just a public announcement out of the generosity of my big heart for Jason Blaha, so that maybe his so informative videos can be a little more realistic. I don't know. Or maybe he'll just continue talking about his propensity for carrying his character from Call of Duty over into the real world, or whatever that may be. I don't know. Anyhow, have an awesome evening, and I'll be back with you again soon.